welcome to the amazing, wonderful Janet Finlay, coach for dog guardians, and trainers specialising in the human end of the lead. Welcome. Mwah.
Thank you for having me. It's so lovely to see you and everybody's. Hi, everybody. Who's there?
Woo. Amazing. Okay, so first question for you. What does self-care mean to you?
Oh, goodness. How long have you got? Okay, so for me, self-care is prioritizing yourself. So it's putting yourself first, which for me has been hugely difficult. It's so hard to do that because, of course, we're all taught that that's really selfish and that's really kind of self-indulgent and we should be looking after everybody. And I have supporter in me, so I'm quite a supporting person. But it's so everybody else gets to come first as a natural sort of bent. So for me, self-care is about prioritizing yourself, and that might be, you know, the things that people often think about when they think about self-care, doing nice things for yourself, but it might just be giving yourself a break or being able to say no. One of the biggest things of self-care that I did recently was to say no to something where I felt enormous pressure to do it. And it was so pressured that I actually said to somebody, I would prefer to go through the agony of the 3 months that I was committing to of doing this thing and knowing that that was going to take away from everything else in my personal life. I would rather go through that than actually have the conversation that said, no, I won't do it, because that felt so difficult for me. But it was a big act of self-care. So for me, it's putting yourself first, making sure that you're actually looked after, because if you're not looked after, you can't look after anybody else. And that's the truth of it.
So. Amazing. Thank you for sharing so deeply with us in your own experience as well.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, it all is living out, isn't it? We're all learning about things as we're going through. And so what we experience, we get to kind of put out there, and that's what molds how we feel and think about things, I think, is we have an idea and then we get challenged in that idea and we kind of face something that source something that ends up making us kind of go, hang on a minute, that's not fair, I don't want it to be like that, and then we have to rethink everything. So yeah, that was quite a big thing, was having to actually make a choice that was putting myself first publicly and being in a position where I was actually saying to people, no, I won't do this because I'm more important. And that was so hard. My mental welfare was more important than doing this thing that everybody was pressuring me to do. And actually, as it turned out, they weren't pressuring me to do it. So as it turned out, and this is the other lesson that I learned from that, as it turned out, nobody was pressuring me to do it at all. I was feeling pressure to do it. I was creating pressure to do it. I was creating that in my head. And when I said this to people, they said, good on you. Good on you. That's what you should be doing. Yeah, looking after yourself. Well done, you. And I'm kind of going, why did I feel that was going to be so difficult? So yeah, I think sometimes we just have to step out because our brain is telling us that everybody else is expecting this of us. And, you know, a lot of the time we're creating those expectations. Yeah. So that's another area of self-care. Let go of the expectations. Take the pressure off. Let go of attachment to whatever and just be able to be a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's so true. A huge amount of the expectation, if not often all of it, is what we've created ourselves, because all these little dramas and stresses go on within inside us. And as soon as you actually put it out there back into the world, a lot of people, like you said, they're like, oh no, that's not what I meant at all. Yeah, I thought you wanted to do it. I was trying to support you. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. It's the other supporters are there saying, yeah, we'll help you with it. We think you're mad, but we'll help you with it. And you're there going, they want me to do it, so I've got to do it. And it's crazy. And when you actually stop and put yourself in that position of, you know, I'm important, I matter as much as everybody else, and I can only do the work that I do if I'm looking after myself. As soon as you do that, then everything kind of falls into, slots into place, you know, and things do, people do come back, because if you're actually willing to say, look, you know, this is what I get to do for myself, other people will come back and say, yes, that's, you know, great that you're prioritizing yourself. And it also gives them permission to do it. So that's the other thing that's really important about it is, you know, the more we spend time kind of going, oh, I can't because I've got so much to do and I've got to support all these people, that's also putting pressure on other people to act in the same way and not look after themselves either. So the more that we can do that actually is putting ourselves in a position where we are cherishing ourselves and looking after ourselves and loving ourselves. And that was a big thing for me, was self-love. Oh no, you know, that's all a bit, you know, it's that again, very self-indulgent and things. We've got to love everybody else. You can't love other people unless you love yourself. So learning that has been massive, and being able to kind of receive from other people is another part of self-love, which has been massive for me, which just not having to do everything yourself. So not feeling that whole, you know, I've got it, it's all right, I'm fixing it, and all that sort of stuff. Because sometimes I think we do those things in a way that is, we've got an idea that that is somehow looking after other people, but that is actually quite selfish. It's quite selfish to do that, to sort of be saying, no, you can't help me. Because if we are people who, and everybody loves helping everybody. I mean, most people love to support other people, don't they? And what you're doing is saying, no, you can't. Saying, no, I don't need you. You can't help me. You can't support me. You can't give to me. I won't receive it. And that's actually far more selfish than saying, I prioritize me and I also prioritize you. So yeah, it's been a lot of lessons around that, because I think we sometimes have it completely sort of the wrong way round, don't we? We kind of have this idea of what giving is about and generosity is about and being there for other people is about. And actually what I've been exploring over the last, I've been doing a lot of leadership training over the last year, and the thing that's come out of it again and again and again is it starts with us. It starts with us where we are and looking after ourselves. And when we're looking after ourselves, then everything else flows out from that, rather than the other way around.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm so proud of you, because I know how much of a personal challenge that would have been for you just to say no, and then to say no publicly as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's another layer.
Absolutely. Yeah. For other people to see that you weren't, because you read it, don't you, as I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. Other people are managing to juggle all these balls. So why can't I? And instead of seeing it as, well, you don't know what other people's on other people's plates. And you also don't know how much the struggle is for other people. So people might be managing it perfectly well, and because they have different plates to you. But they may also be about at the point of collapse. And we don't know that, because all we see is the external, what they put out. So it's to sort of compare yourself to everybody else is a crazy thing, because you are not everybody else. So you know what your capacity, and you also know what's important to you. So, you know, what are your priorities? And we get to be able to enjoy our priorities. You know, it is not selfish to want to spend time with the people we love. It's not selfish to want to be able to go out and enjoy nature. It's not selfish to be able to want to have time with family. Those things are not selfish. They're self-care. And when we put all those things at the back of the queue, then, you know, we're doing nobody any favors, because we're burning out, and those people aren't getting what, you know, they're paying a price for that. And the people that we're working with and the people that we're supposedly supporting, they are also paying a price, because they're not getting our best self. So yeah, that's my kind of take on the whole thing now, I think.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I love also the fact that you were saying about, you know, opening yourself up and receiving support is beautiful and healing for you, because it gives you that knowledge that people are there actually lifting you up as well. But you're also opening up that pathway for other people to be able to support you and to give.
Yeah. And that is so important. And I remember a coach of mine many years ago. So I've been doing kind of leadership coaching and stuff for a long time. And my original coach, I remember her was talking about this, and I said something about, oh no, well, I don't want to ask them. And she basically challenged me on it. And she said, so what gives you the right to take that away from them? Why do you feel, well, I don't think she used the word why, because that wouldn't be a very NLP thing to do, but she basically was saying, what is, what makes you feel that it's okay for you want to give to other people, but you won't allow other people to give to you? What makes you think that's okay? And that was really massive for me. I just kind of went, whoa, okay, she's got a point. That's not fair. And the fairness of it is quite important, to allow people that, because it matters to people. We tend to think that when people offer to help, I don't know about you, but I have all my life thought, when anybody's offering to help, it's because they feel obliged. It's because they feel that they have to do that. It's not because they actually want to support you. That's the mentality that I've had pretty much all my life. And so I've tried to avoid it because I didn't want to be a burden to people. I didn't want anybody to feel that they had to do this stuff for me. And what I'm realizing is actually people want to do it. People want to give to you. And we all have that. We all have people in our lives who are desperately wanting to support us, who desperately want to give, who want to give something back, for the stuff that you do. And it's this kind of, or even for stuff that other people have done for them. It's a pay it forward sometimes, but people fundamentally are generous and want to give. And when we say, no, I'm all right, I can look after myself, then we take that opportunity away from people. And it's hard. It is hard to receive and accept, but, working on it.
Oh, and you're so totally worth it.
Yeah, we all are. We all are. And absolutely. And I think that's the message is, we all matter. We all matter. And that is the message of self-care and self-love for me, is we matter, and everybody is in that place. So it's not that I matter and you matter, but the other person doesn't matter. It's we all matter. And in the leadership work, and I know you've been doing similar parts and some of the same leadership stuff, but one of the things that we do is we think, well, what's our vision for the world? And I took ages over this. So I went through months and months of thinking, I don't really have a vision for the world. I have a kind of stuff I want to do. I have stuff I want to do for myself. I don't really have a vision for the world. And it bugged me because people would go, oh, I want to do this and change lives for all these people. And I want to do this. And some was very specific to particular areas and industries or groups of people. And some were very generic, I want to change the world. And I was just going, I don't really have a vision. What is my vision? And then it came to me just a few months ago, really. My vision is that people will know they matter. That is my vision, that people know they matter. And that my interactions with the world, whether big or small, will let them know they matter. So that might just be, I smile at somebody in the street instead of glaring at them in a kind of, or I am just more kind of open with people that I just meet on everyday interactions, going down to the shop or whatever, you have, and you just let people know, you make eye contact, you smile, you chat, you give them a moment of your time. And that is a message that they matter in a small way. It's a small message, but it's still an important message. And then you obviously do it in big ways with other people that you get to spend more time with and give more to. But that is fundamentally what I want to spend my life doing, is letting people know they matter in whatever area that I'm working in. And so I think that's a really important message. And it's an important message of self-care as well, because once you realize you matter, then you're given permission to look after yourself, because why wouldn't you if you matter? And it's the fact that when people don't do self-care, when people put themselves at the bottom of the queue, bottom of the queue, end of the queue, bottom of the pile, whatever, mixing metaphors. But when people do that, it's because fundamentally they don't believe they matter. They don't believe they're worthy of giving themselves time. They don't believe that they have, you know, the right to do that. And I definitely didn't believe that. And I'm kind of coming around to that thing of, yes, I am worthy of it, and yes, I do matter, and therefore I'm gonna, you know, prioritize myself in whatever way that looks like. And sometimes that looks like I'm going to take a day off and I'm just going to do what I want to do, and sometimes it means I'm going to take the time to spend with people who make me feel excuse me, make me feel kind of uplifted. And sometimes it means I'm going to clean the house because it's driving me nuts. And so self-care for me might be, you know, washing the kitchen floor, you know, or it's not, or putting clean sheets on the bed. It's not about having fancy stuff or going to the spa, although it might be. I'm looking forward. I'm hoping to get a spa day next week, so looking forward to that. Yeah, I know. But it's not just about those things. It's about all the stuff that gives you, reminds you that actually you are worthy to live in good surroundings and to have time with the people you care about and to give yourself time and to be fit and healthy and all of those things, and you're worth it. And so that for me is the crux of the matter, I think.
Wow, you are amazing.
So are you, Liz.
Oh.
It's an amazing thing for you to be doing all these interviews and stuff, to give these little nuggets out to people.
Yeah, and it's so important, because that's part of my mission, is for people to have the confidence to be themselves. And you only get to be yourself when you're confident that you are worthy, that you do matter. So yeah, I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's brilliant.
So thinking back to your very first memory of self-care, what's a first like experience that you could share with us?
Whoa, that's a tough one. I have a terrible memory. I ought to tell you that. I have a terrible memory. I can't remember what happened last week, let alone earliest memories. I really struggle with earliest memories. I don't think that I think I would have up until very, very recently, I would have seen self-care as being, well, you take a bit of time to have a bath, or, you know, bubble bath. The Americans listening will think, what is this obsession that the Brits have with bubble baths? But anyway, it's something that we do. Or I might have thought, you know, I'd spend some time with my dog. When I was little, it would have been go out and play with the dogs. That would be my kind of thing to do. But none of it was really getting to the heart of anything. It was just doing a little bit of relaxation. And actually, most of that I would have been spending thinking, what should I be doing instead? So a lot of the time, any self-care that I did, so holidays, everything like that, taking time out, I never took time off. I took time off, but I never actually disconnected from my work. So even when I was on holiday, I would be thinking, I would do this, and I'd be checking emails and be doing that. Not obviously when I was little, but I don't really have much memory of when I was little, to be honest. That's a whole nother story. So yeah, I suppose it's really been in the last year of doing things that allowed me to be me. So I spent a long time being what I felt other people wanted me to be. And that included how I looked, how I dressed, what I did, whether I dyed my hair or not. It was all that sort of stuff. And it was all about other people's expectations of me. And of course, they were completely fabricated. Nobody had those expectations of me. And if I had just stood up to people and said, no, actually, no, I'm going to do this, they would have said, go for it, you know. But I thought that they were saying no, because if somebody said to me, oh, I don't like this, I would interpret that as, therefore, you shouldn't do it. So that was the sort of mindset that I was in. And so really, it's just been the last year. And I kind of feel like I've well, you knew me before, didn't you? You knew me earlier before thing. And I was actually looking at some old videos of me, and I was just very, I think I was just very tired. I was very tired and weary. Weariness, I think, is the word. That everything was an effort. Everything was very heavy. And what I found over the last year is giving myself time. So the real self-care has been being willing to actually take time out of my busyness to completely connect to who I want to be, who I am at my core, and to take myself on. So that whole thing of working through doing all the leadership stuff, and it has been a journey of best part of a year, 9 months at least, 10 months and counting, and it's ongoing. It's not that it's finished. I mean, I'm not currently in a kind of official container to do it, but it doesn't finish. I'm still kind of going on, and I think it's having permission to just play and experiment and be who you want to be. So, you know, I mean, your audience probably don't know, I have had about 6 color changes in my hair over the last day. I feel like Tonks in Harry Potter, you know, hair change depending on mood, you know, it's that kind of thing. And I'm kind of settling on red. I kind of like red. But the point about it was just that it allowed me to explore. It wasn't a big statement or anything. It was just, I want to explore how this feels. And what's happened, I think, in doing that for me has been a massive self-care thing, because that's been about letting myself be expressive, letting myself reflect what is inside, as opposed to what I'm projecting what I think other people want to see, which of course nobody does. And when I look back at it, I look back and think, yeah, of course they didn't, because it was kind of dull. I was squashing my inner promoter completely, you know, and I'm kind of letting that out a little bit to play. But yeah, it's I think early memories, I struggle with early memories. I have very few early memories, so we'll have to go with recent memories.
Yeah, and I think in summary, like, it fits because everything that you've been speaking about is leading up to now.
Yeah.
You know, this is where you're feeling the self-care. You're allowing yourself to be. So whilst you may have taken time for yourself in the past, it wasn't in the same way as you're taking it now.
Definitely not in the same way. And the taking yourself on thing is an ongoing thing. And it's all about digging deeper into your own, you know, the layers of, I mean, there's obviously all the layers of things that block you, but there's also the layers of resilience and the layers of what you've got inside that you can actually cope with things. So, I mean, the last few months, so I started, so I was in this self-care journey. And then over the last few months, it's just been, you know, my father had a heart attack, my sister had COVID, my partner's dog has cancer. It's all kind of like thing after thing after thing after thing that has just been really difficult. And I was kind of going, this isn't fair. Why the heck's this happening? And somebody presenced it, actually Christina, I don't know if Christina is one of your people in your thing, but people listening may know Christina Cass, and she's my coach. And she said to me, you know what, you're sourcing this. This is, you've been focusing on self-care, you've been focusing on self-love. And this is the universe saying, okay, you think you've got that, you think you've nailed it. Can you still nail it when your father has a heart attack? Can you still nail it when your sister has COVID and you're displaced? Because I live with my sister, so I can't actually, I couldn't go home for 6 weeks. Can you still nail it when you're supporting a partner whose very, very special dog is very sick? And that then sort of brings another layer where you go, okay, it's not just about sort of feeling good and getting things, it's about being able to draw on all of that, even when the world is shit. Sorry, am I able to use words like that? But yeah, even when the world is throwing shit at you, you can still draw on those things. And that is an ongoing journey. And I'm not saying I'm there because, you know, it threw me completely. But I get the message that it's about being able to keep on looking after yourself, even when things are going pear-shaped. Because if you can only do it when you're feeling good, that isn't enough. It's because as soon as you stop feeling good, bang, everything goes wrong. And then you feel worse. And it's a downward spiral because you're not looking after yourself. So does self-care work even when the world is throwing rubbish at you? Yeah, so that was the next lesson. It's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing lesson. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so true, isn't it? You know, when everything's going great, self-care is really easy. Well, easier.
Yeah,
sometimes it isn't easy to take even 5
Never
minutes.
easy, but it is easier. Yeah, definitely.
And you know, and then when things come and they test you and they challenge you, it's being able to still remember to take that moment for yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you still do that under those circumstances? And so it's finding ways that you can do that. And what I'm doing now is just working on, and it's not perfect in any way. I miss days, and I try and then I kind of beat myself up because I missed a day. But just trying to give myself just a moment of, 15 minutes or so of time to ground myself each day, so that this is about me and focusing on me, and it's not meditation really, it's just being present with me and seeing what comes up in that space. And that's been really powerful, just to do that, to having to give myself that space. And I think sometimes, especially when things get busy, we tend to sort of let everything slip, and things don't get done. So whatever those kind of practices, everybody will have things that will work for them. That might be a creative practice. It might be that you make something. It might be you express yourself in writing. It might be that you do meditation. It might be whatever it is, but having that moment every day where you are connecting with the core of you, I think is really important. That we keep on doing that, even if things are crap, and particularly when things are crap, mainly when things are crap, because that is what brings you out of it for sure.
Yeah, I love it, and it's so true. And it's just taking those moments of just stillness or expression, or like you said, just dumping it all out of your mind in whatever way, just that deep connection with you. That's the constant, because you are always you.
Yeah, exactly.
So that connection piece, it can always be there in spite of everything around you. And I think that's the core of most kind of practices, like even Buddhism, Christianity, any other sort of spiritual things, is it's being able to be you and positive and loving, obviously, to yourself and everyone else, no matter what else is happening. But yeah, it's a constant ongoing, that's a lifelong
it is
yourself.
It's the ongoing battle to make sure that you actually allow that. Just, it's allowing it, isn't it? Because it's very easy to let everything else just pile in and then say that you didn't have time, or that it wasn't possible, and these sorts of things. And it's all choice. It's all choice. We all make choices every day about how we spend our time. We all have the same amount of time. Yes, we have things that we have to do, get to do. We have things that other people expect of us. But the bottom line, we still make choices about it. Even if that choice is you're going to stay at work or not, that is your choice. So we all have choices, and there is nobody who doesn't have 15 minutes in a day that they can make a choice to give to themselves, because that could be done while you're walking. It could be done when you're driving somewhere. It could be done in all sorts of places, or it could just be that you get up 15 minutes early or something like that to have a bit of quiet. But I think that is such an important, that's been so important for me in the last couple of months, well, my last couple of really months, I suppose, because that's when everything's been going pear-shaped. To actually do that. And I'm still working on it being a practice, because I do miss days, and I do find, then I think, I haven't done it. That's why things are feeling a little bit kind of frazzled. And then I go back, and just taking that moment, taking that time really makes a difference. So yeah. So important.
Yeah, and just like me, I completely feel you, see you, hear you, and it's in those spaces where things happen and it feels like they're happening to us.
Mm.
And then it's finding that place in yourself to go, okay, this is all happening, right? Why? What's my lesson? What do I get
What
to
is,
learn?
yeah, what is in it? What is it teaching me? So it's happening for you. It's happening to as a way of, and it's not that we're responsible for things in the sense that we're to blame for things. It's that the choices we make lead to things, and those that also brings with it opportunities. And so the things that we, if we are in a place where we're ready for something, then those opportunities will come. And I really believe that things that we get what we are ready for. And it may not feel like it at the time. We may be feeling, damn it, I don't want that right now. I just want a bit of peace and quiet. Leave me alone. Get out of my face. It may be that you feel like that, and we want to say to the universe, just get out of here. I just want to be left alone and get on with what I'm doing. And I was enjoying myself. Give me a few minutes to myself. Give me a few minutes to enjoy this thing that I'm enjoying. But we get to enjoy it in spite of everything. We get to enjoy it within everything. And it's not, that we're not derailed by stuff. And the more that actually happens, the stronger we get to be, and the stronger our knowledge of ourselves and our commitment to ourselves becomes. And it's that commitment which is the root of self-care. So it's taking us back to the beginning of what is the thing that is self-care. It's prioritizing ourselves. It's being committed to ourselves and to being giving ourselves whatever it is we need as a first priority. And I think that is where we often fall back, because we balk at that and we think, oh, that sounds just a little bit too self-indulgent to give ourselves what we need. But it isn't. It's the root of everything, and it's where personal growth happens. But it's also where I think really effective support of others comes from, because I don't think you can actually really support other people unless you are in that place where you are supported. And in that place where that support is coming from yourself, from other people, whatever. But until you're in that place where your needs are being met, how can you meet other people's needs? How can you support other people to meet their own needs? And we end up then in a place of, well, I've got to fix it. I'm rescuing. I'm really trying to make things better for people. And I spent my entire life doing that. My entire life has been a rescue mission for everybody else. I'm out there and I'm the fixer and I'm the problem solver and I'm the person who's going to make things better for you. But it doesn't work like that, because solutions are in our set. In each person has their own solutions inside, and what we can do is support other people to find their solutions. We can't go in and fix them. It's not a kind of rescue mission. We can just help them to find their solutions inside themselves. And if we haven't done that for ourselves, then we're going to struggle. So we end up rescuing.
Yeah. It's beautiful, and it's very much my own journey as well. So I completely resonate. And I think many people, especially like you said, people who are supportive, it tends to be what we do, and then we end up burnt out, and then kind of occasionally like resentful, because we're like, but I can't do all this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of flip-flop between being quite controlling. So I have a controlling part to me, but I also have this very supportive part. And yes, that resentment, when I get to that burning out point, I would get the resentment, and then I'd go into control and think, these people, get them out of my face. I don't want people going bothering me. People are demanding things of me. And of course, if people aren't demanding anything, they're just there being people and being caring and loving and supporting, and even people giving you love felt pressure. So I was been a few times in the leadership program where somebody has said something to me and I have read it, I have heard it as a demand, pressure, and what it has actually been has been a statement of support. But because I was in that space of, the world's trying to ask things of me. That's what I heard. And I think that is very common, that we hear things that are not actually that person's intention at all. And people offer us support and love, and we hear that as they want something of me. They're demanding something of me. They're demanding to let them support me. It's a crazy thing. But yeah, I do feel that that's really important, that letting other people in, and if we're wanting to support other people, not trying to fix things for everybody, but actually starting off with ourselves and then just being there for people so that they can, supporting them as they find their way through it. Because I think that just being there and being there openly with people, so that you're opening yourself up and being vulnerable with people, you're giving of your real self rather than of the self that you've put out there, that this is the bit of me that you get, and this is the helper bit of me, and this is the very competent bit of me, and the bit that can fix everything. And you just sort of open yourself up and say, you know what, I don't know if I can help you, I don't know if I can support, but I can be here as a support because I love you. I can do that. I don't know whether it's going to make a difference, but you're not in there to be the hero that goes in and makes the difference. You just be there for a person on a human level. And I think that's where real support comes from, when people are just prepared to sit in the room with you, rather than that they feel that they've got to make it all better. But it's taken me many, many years to work that one, or to come through to that. And I still kind of find myself trying to fix things quite often. But yeah, it's a journey. The whole thing is a journey, isn't it? We're both on it. We're all on it, whether we know it or not.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm so grateful for everything that you shared.
You're very welcome. It's been lovely to chat to you.
Oh, thank you. And if people want to kind of get in touch, do you want to give me like a link, or is there a website?
I do have a website. It's a bit out of date at the moment. It's one of the things on my list to do, and it's not getting prioritized, but it's canineconfidenceacademy.com. And that's where you find me. Also find me at Janet Finlay Canine Confidence on Facebook. And yeah, I'm doing more and more leadership stuff in there for dog trainers. So that's kind of where I'm heading, I think. So yeah, I'd love to connect with anybody who's found it interesting and it's resonating with. So do drop me a line.
Woo, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's lovely to sort of stop and actually reflect on some of this stuff. So thank you.
Woo, you are doing amazing. Woo, woo.